Hi everybody, good evening. Okay, today let's start with Python. Uh, we'll deal with all the syllabus which is required for the data engineering. For data engineering, we need basics along with pandas and some of the few other modules. I'll explain all of those. I'll share my screen. Okay, so when Python, I don't go in much details into about the history of Python and all. It might be repetition for one or two members. We had one class in the last week. So bear with for one or two classes. So I don't go much details into about the history of Python and all like college. I'll directly tell you that Python was developed by Guido van Rossum. This person developed Python and it came to public utility in 1991. It was released to public usage in 1991. It was developed by Guido van Rossum. So Python is a very simple language compared to other programming languages. The syntax is very simple and the functionality or the library is so huge. We can write anything with Python. We have one number of modules. We can do anything starting from basic web application till the data science, AI, everything can be done with Python. It is a vast syllabus, but in this course, we'll be dealing only with what is required for the data engineering. So I'll tell you what all we cover here. Python basics. I'll start from the basics. If you are not familiar with any of the programming languages, that is not a problem. We don't need any prerequisites for Python. Sorry, somebody writing something. We don't need any prerequisites for learning Python. It is just like a simple English. Everybody will be able to understand it easily. So Python, I'll teach you basics along with data types. When I say data types, there are so many data types in Python. Strings and numbers, which every one of us know. Strings, numbers. Everybody is familiar with what is number and what is a string. Other than this, we have list, tuple, dictionary, sets. These are the four data types other than numbers and strings. So if you are familiar with the data sets, then you will be able to understand everything. And we have to we have to be good at loops. Loops. When I say loops, it is for loop and while loop and control statements as well. Control statements like if control statements are break and continue. And next is conditional statements. Conditional statements are if and else. If else. And next is exception handling. I'm just giving you the overview of syllabus. Exception handling. Then lambda functions. And the normal functions. Regular expressions. And pandas. After pandas, I'll explain the request module as well. Request module used for data extraction from API. So on a high level, this is the syllabus what we cover in our course. So out of all this, we should be very good at basics and loops along with pandas. So these are the things we'll be using in our regular data engineering course. So let us start with Python. Python is like very simple high level language. It is like plain English. It can be run on any platform. either Linux, Mac, or Windows. It can be run anywhere. If you don't want to install it on your system, you can run it in online as well. We have to just go to compiler, Python compiler online, and you can run it from here. You can run it from here as well. Just the simple. If you have to write a print something, print hello world, you just need to write print hello world. You can try it from your mobile also. You don't need a laptop for this. You can open this Python online or online compiler website and then write your code here and run it. See, it is executed. It has executed and it has given this one line of print statement. So if we want to print the same hello world in some other language, either Java or Python or something, so we will need at least 4 or 5 lines. I'll show you Java code. Sorry, did somebody ask something? Okay, Java code for printing hello world. So for Java, we need license also. We can't do it in open source. It is licensed version we need. So for writing a simple print hello, we need to write these many lines, 5 or 6 lines we need. In C program also, we need 4 or 5 lines. So the simplest thing we can do in Python is just write like a plain English, write print hello world. It will execute that for us. It So if we want to install this in our system, if we want Python to be installed in our system, we have to go to this website, python.org. So from here, click on downloads. You will find the latest version here. So it will show the latest version which is compatible with our system and you can download it from here. Just download it, post that, click on the install button. It would be as simple as that. In my system, Python is already installed. To check if Python is already installed or not, we just go to command prompt and type Python. If it is already available, it will give you the version number. So now I have the Python 3.10 version. So Python, uh, there are various versions in Python, Python 2 and Python 3. These are the main versions, and post that there will be some small releases or small updates. With that, the version number gets changes. That won't be a big problem, but Python 2 and Python 3. These are two different things. Some of the libraries supported in Python 3 will not be supported in Python 2. So just now we have seen the print statement. Here we have seen the print statement. This is Python 3. So in Python 2, the same thing can be written as print hello world. Without brackets are not supported in Python 2. In Python 2, we have to write it like this. So nowadays Python 2 is no longer used. Everybody is using Python 3. So we no need to worry about how is 2 working and all. So just some small syntax changes, nothing much in the logic or the programming. So these are the two versions. So we can use 3 only, 3 and above versions. Everything works the same way. So Python is already installed uh, as uh, as our comfortable. We can use it in online editor, or if you want to execute in our system, you can install PyCharm. Everywhere you can write it. You can write it wherever you want, or just simply in a notepad or a Word document. Anywhere you can write it. I'll simply write this print hello world in my notepad. So if you want this file to be saved as a Python file, the extension should be .py. It should be saved as a .py file. So I will save it. Sample.py. Select all types and save the file as sample.py. So I have saved this as sample.py. We have opened the command prompt. One second. Okay, open the command prompt. Here you have to go to the path where that Python file is saved. I will show you where my Python file is saved. On desktop, there is batch 3. Inside there is a sample. So I will get the properties for this. So it is in OneDrive desktop Python batch 3. OneDrive CD, OneDrive desktop. CD is to change the directory. Desktop Python. Let me see the name again. Python batch 3. If you're not finding the files here, let's just do dir. It will show all the folders available in the given directory. Now we have to switch to this cd Python batch 3. I want 3. So in this 3, again we'll see what are the files available in this. So these are the available files inside our this batch 3 folder. We have sample.py. So in order to execute any Python file, we just have to go to that path and then write Python space that file name sample.py. See, it has given the same thing. So wherever the Python file it is, if you don't have any PyCharm or any other thing in your system, if the Python is installed, you can go to the command prompt and then run it from here. So this is one way. Other way is if you install Python, it will by default give you an IDLE environment. IDLE is integrated development environment. We have this, open it. So IDLE environment will be like this. This is like command prompt. Whatever we write here, if we just write print hello world, it will print it. It will print it. So it is like a command prompt. So if you want to save it as a file, you have to open a new file and then start writing the code here. So we just now see in the print hello world. So we can we can write that and save it as a file and then execute it just like the sample file how we did it. So other than that, now let's move on to the features of Python. Let's see where all the Python is used. Python is used in web development and data science, some backend web applications, and data engineering, data science, and AI. So we can use Python anywhere. So it is a platform independent. It can be installed on any platform, either on Mac, Windows, Linux, anywhere we can be installed. It is a open source. Python is open source. We don't need to pay or get license. It is an open source language. Because of this open source and high availability of libraries, because everything is supported with Python. If you want to connect to any other tool like any SQL database or any cloud, it is easily connected because Python has various packages. I will show you slowly in the future classes. Don't worry if you don't get right now. Okay, it is an open source and platform independent. When I say platform independent, it can be installed on any OS. It works the same way. It is a high level programming language. And then Python is a dynamically typed language. I will tell you what it is. Dynamically typed language. I will tell you the meaning of this. Let me save this file first. See, if you are saving the file with the ideally, by default, it is saving as type Python file. So let's save it. So these are all the features of a Python. We can do these many things with Python. There will be so many, but I have listed a few. It is open source and it is dynamically typed language. So I have put a hash here. Hash is nothing but a symbol to comment a single line in Python. If we want to comment any of the lines, we have to use hash. If you want to comment multiple lines, this is all not coded. This is just some text which we are just discussing. This is some text part. If we run this, it will give errors. Say you don't know what it is. So we don't want all this, but it has to be there just for the understanding purpose. So if we want to comment multiple lines, we have to comment it like this. Triple quotes. 1, 2, 3. So this is already commented. Dynamically typed language is already commented with a single line. So till here you can comment it. So if you now execute it, so all these lines of code will not be executed. I mean, all these lines of code will be considered as the comments or the description of this file. It will not be executed and will give the error. So either triple quotes or single quotes, it will behave the same way. Now we have given triple quotes. I will give triple quotes till here. And if I want the rest of the lines to be included in a single quotes, I can do that. But starting and ending, it should be enclosed in same characters. See, everything is commented out. So if you want to comment, we have to put triple quotes, either single triple quotes or double triple quotes. So this is about commenting. And next, coming to dynamically typed language. If we want to give values to a variable, let us give a equal to 10. A is a variable and 10 is its value. So we don't know what data type it is. By looking at it, 10 is a number. Everybody can say that it is a number. But in C or Java or some other languages, if we have to provide any variable, first we have to define that data type. Define A as int, B as some string, something we have to define. But in Python, we don't need to define anything. Just write A equal to 10 and then just print A. It will directly give the value of A. See, it has directly given the value of A as 10. So how it is considering? Either it is considering a string or some string or number, or how do we know that? If you want to check the data type of a given variable, we have to write type of A. Type will give the data type. To find the data type, we'll use the type of that variable name. Let us see. See, that value of A is 10 and its data type is integer. So it is integer. I did not say whether it is integer or float or string. I did not say, but Python automatically understood that based on the given value, it is an integer. So the same value, I will give it in single quotes or double quotes. Now I will type the value of B. In print statements, we can write single value or we can write multiple values using a comma separator. So B comma, I want to print B along with its data type. If you want to check the data type, we need to write data type of B. So now it will print A and its type, B and its type. Sorry, type. I just have to write type. See, both the values are 10. A is 10 and B is 10. But B is enclosed in single quotes. That's why anything in Python, if it is enclosed in single quotes or double quotes, it is by default considered as string. So that's why even though it is a number, it is considered as a string. So I'll give one more example. C equal to Python. I have to print C and its data type. Type of C. See, the value of C is Python and its type is string. I did not say whether C is a string or something, but it has automatically detected. And I will give one more value, D equal to some 12.05. So ideally, it is a decimal number. It should be either decimal or float. With the C is right. Type of D. See, the type of D is float. So based on the given value, it is automatically detecting whatever the type it is. So it is called as dynamically typed language. When I say dynamically typed language, the meaning is this. Based on the given input or the given value, the Python will automatically detect. So any questions still here? Okay. If there are no questions, I'll continue. So I'm commenting this whole lines of code because every time if we run, it is giving all the output of this. So I don't want to run all these lines. Before that, let me tell you one thing as well here. So this is a dynamically typed line. Based on the given value, it is detecting the data type. And also Python is interpreter language. Interpreter language. Interpreter language is line by line execution. Line by line execution. Languages are of two types. One is interpreter language and the other is compiler language. I will tell you the difference. Compiler language is whole code at once. It will execute whole code at once. So what is the difference? What is the benefit of this? Let us say when Python is an interpreter language, which means that it can be executed line by line. First A is done and its value is we are printing that value and its data type. So after this, there is an error. I will say print some A1. A1 is not here, but I'm trying to print that. Let us see what happens. See, the value of A is 10. I have printed A and type of A. Till here it has executed fine. Till the data type it is executed fine. And then now I am trying to print A1 which is not defined anywhere. So at this line print A1 it says name error A1 is not defined. Did you mean A? It is giving the possibility A1 is not there. Are you trying to print the value of A? No, I don't want A. I intentionally written A1 because after this A1 also there are about 7-8 lines of code here. It is not executed because when in the interpreter language, whenever the after the line by line execution at any point, if it finds the error, the next lines of code will not be executed. The next lines of code will not be executed even though there are hundreds of lines of code and there is no error in it. If it finds error in one of the lines, the execution breaks then and there itself. This is the interpreter language. And coming to compiler, so if there is a error in line 1, after that there are some 4-5 lines of code. And again, here there is one more error, B2, print B2. So it will give, there is an error in line A1. Sorry, this A1 is not defined. It will give that error. After that, it will print the value of B and its data type. Post that, it will give one more error. How many errors are there? That many errors it will give along with executing the code in between. So that is the compiler language. So the line by line execution is faster because it won't read all the code at once. Just it will read this line. Oh, okay, execute it, give the output. Execute it, give the output. So the line by line execution is faster. For executing the whole code, it has to read all the code and then see it, if there is error, print this. Sorry, if there is an error, it has to break at this. Again, check what are the next lines of code. And then again, if it is any error, it has to check and do all the code. So compiler will take more time. compiler languages will take more time for execution compared to interpreter language. So this is a basic difference between interpreter and compiler. Interpreter will give only one error at first instance, and the next code will break. Compiler, it will check all the code and it will give all the errors available in our code. So that is the interpreter language. And after this, so if I have opened single quotes, I have opened this comment section with single quotes, and now I have closed with double triple quotes, and now trying to execute it. See, unterminated triple quotes, string literal at line 50. So it is saying there is an error at line 50 because whatever it is opened, the ending code should be same. If it is started with the double quotes, you should end with double quotes. If it is started with single quotes, you should end with single quotes. Same with the variables or whatever it is. And next, I will say input output operations. Input or output operations. So here, A equal to 10, B equal to 10, C equal to Python, D equal to something. All these values we have given statically. I mean, these values are fixed. It is not changed anytime. So here, if you want the user to give the input while running the code, user has to provide the input. So let us say A equal to input of, if we want to accept user input, the keyword is input. Input of just something. We don't write anything. It will ask for input. After inputting, based on the given user input, I have to print A and its type. This is my requirement. So here it is asking me for an value. The cursor is blinking, which means that it is asking me an input. So I'm giving input as 100. See, I have given 100, not in single quotes or not in double quotes, but I still the value is considered as string. Why? Because if we take input, the default values will be string. Whatever you give, if there is an input, the default values will be string. So you don't want the user to input string values. You want them to be input strictly the integer values. So B has to be integer only. The input of B should be strictly integer. Print B comma type of B. So if you want the value of B to be taken as only integer, nothing else, so we have to cast it int of. We have to enforce that int of input of. Now again we'll see. See, with just the input, it is just blinking the cursor. Otherwise, we can write some customized text here. Provide value of A. Here I will write provide value for B. So now we'll see. Value of A, I can give anything, either number or string or anything I can give. Value of A, I have given Python and it is considered as string. Value of B, again I will write SQL. See, it has given an error because, see the error message, invalid literal for integer with base 10 SQL. So it is expecting some number and we have provided a string. That's why it has given an error. So if we don't want that error, so A value, you can provide anything. Sorry. Let me execute it one more time. A value, I can provide anything. And B value should be strictly a number. See, now the value of B is 123 and its data type is integer. So this is how we have to enforce the user to input only numbers. Let us say if we go to ATM and we have to enter the PIN number. So that should be strictly a 4 digit or the 6 digit number. It should not be alphabets or any special characters. So if we provide any alphabets or special characters, it will throw an error message, incorrect PIN or invalid PIN. Similarly, here also, if we want only numbers, you have to enforce it this way from the user. Next, this is how we have to accept the user input values. If you want to, by default, if there is input, it will consider as string, even though you provide numbers or something or anything. If you just provide input, it will be considered as string by default. If you want to enforce any data types, you can do it like this. And next, if you want the numbers to be float values, so you have to enforce it as float. C comma type of C. So here also strictly we have to provide numbers, provide value for C. Value of A is some 10, B is 67, and C also I'll just provide the whole number 56. Though we have provided 56, it has considered 56.0 because it is a float value. I have enforced float value. This is how we have to accept the user inputs. And next, so if we have opened it in single quotes, close it with single quotes only. Next, if you want to add any two values, let us say A value is 10 and B value is 100. If you want to add these two values, just do print A plus B. We don't need to write any complex logic, just write A plus B. So A plus B, 10 plus 100 is 110. So if there are strings in that, now I will give C equal to Python D equal to SQL, and I want to add C plus D. See, if it is number, it is doing a mathematical operation, and if it is a string, it is doing string concatenation, adding strings side by side. So if we do this minus operation, let us try to do minus operation. Print A minus B. A minus B is 10 minus 100. It is possible. It will give minus 90 as the output. See, minus 90 is the output. If we do the same thing on string C minus D, that is not possible. See, it has given an error. Unsupported operand type for string. Minus is not supported on strings. Only plus is supported on strings. So based on the data types, Python will support some of the operations. Same if we want to multiply, divide or anything, we can just do with the symbols. So the most frequently used symbols I will tell you. Plus, minus, multiply, all the arithmetical operations. Plus, minus, multiplication, division. This is floor division. And this is a reminder. We can call this as modulo and it is a reminder. So, and this is power. So I will explain you what each of this is. So again, I will give some numerical values. A is 100, B is 20. Print A plus B. Next, A minus B. Print A multiplied by B. Next, A divided by B. A double slash B, A modulo B. Let us see what the output of each of these are. So spelling mistake. See, A plus B is 100 plus 20 is 120. Minus is 100 minus 20, 80. Multiplication. 100 into 20 is 2000. Division. Division, this will give the quotient. Just A slash B will give the quotient. And A double slash B will give the only the integer part. This is called floor division. Floor division and gives only integer part of quotient. It gives only the integer part of the quotient. And this will give the remainder. A modulo B will give the remainder. Here this is a perfect number, that's why you're not getting any remainder. Let us do this. So till here it is a multiplication, and then A divided by B, 4.76. Single slash, we have got the whole quotient. If there is a double slash, A double slash B, it has given only the integer part of the division result. It has given only 4, the integer part. And remainder, when 100 is divided with 21, 16 is the remainder. For remainder, we have to use this symbol modulo. Modulus gives remainder. Modulus gives the remainder. And now we'll check the power. So if we want 3 power 3, which is 27. If we want to give the power, we have to put a double star. These are the operators. Plus, minus, multiply, divided by. These are all the operators. And next, are you able to follow? Any doubts still here? Okay. Next we will move on to some strings. String is one of the data type. Data type is strings. So let us start with data type strings. I will define as some small string st equal to. We have to put it either in single quotes or double quotes, the strings. We are learning Python. Let us say this is the string we have. First, we'll print this and see what is the data type. Print st. This is variable name. You can give it anything. And before this, I wanted to tell you some rules of the variables. Variable rules. So why, till now we have defined the variables as A, B, C, D, something. So all these variables, we should have, there are some rules to be followed. All variables should start with only alphabets. Variables should start with only alphabets, either lowercase or uppercase. Any case is fine. Usually we'll follow lowercase. We'll follow lowercase. Should not start with numbers. The variable should not start with numbers and should not contain any special characters, including space. It should not contain any special characters, including space. These are the rules. Now we'll see one by one. So till now we have used A, B, C, D. Now I'll say some and also the variable should not be keywords. Variable names should not be keywords. There are some keywords in Python. I will tell you what are those. If, else, for, while. So these are like, this has some special meaning. If I say if, it is a if condition. Else is a part of the if condition. For loop is used for loop. While is used for while loop. Similarly, we have some keywords reserved. Def is used for defining the functions. Class is used for defining the class objects. So like this, we have some keywords. So this is also a keyword for defining the dictionary and set a list. These are all some default data types or the separate keys, special keywords used in Python which has a special meaning. These should not be used as there are so many like this. You will get to know slowly. So these variables should not be used as a variable names. These words should not be used as variable names. Now let us try to implement it and see. So all variables should start with alphabets. Till now we have seen alphabets. So ABC is my variable name and its value is Python. And I will print it. Print ABC. I will comment this for some time. Let's come to this later. So value of ABC is Python. So it has followed all the rules. It has started with alphabets. It has no special characters, no keywords, no spaces. Now I will do the same thing. One ABC and I will give the same value Python. Now I'll print this. Print one ABC and now execute this. See, it has given the syntax error here itself. It says syntax error, invalid decimal literal. So in the first place, there should not be any numbers. So even if we provide, it will throw an error. So but we can have numbers once there is an alphabet. Immediately I can have the number like this. And also print A1 BC. This is our variable name. A1 BC is our variable name. Let us try now. See, it is Python. First one is Python. I will write Python one here. So it has accepted. Now I will use some special characters at the rate equal to SQL. I will try to print this ABC at the rate. See, again it has given an error, invalid syntax at the rate. So it should not contain any special symbols, special characters. I will give this at the starting of the variable. Let us try this. Again, it has given this error. So we should not use special characters in our variable names. And there should not be any spaces. Let us say A, B, C, D, E, F. Let us say this is our variable name. So again, it has given the syntax error. So there should not be any spaces. If you want something to be separated, we can have underscores. Underscore is supported here. See, ABCDEF value is SQL. It has given if you want words to be separated without spaces, we should use underscore. This is a general practice. So these are the rules for defining the variables. Next. So throughout the Python, we have to follow these rules while defining the variables. And one more thing, I'll write if equal to condition. Print if it is expecting some if condition. If there should be some condition here, but we are treating it as a variable. Let us see what happens. See, it is invalid syntax. So that's why we should not use keywords as variables. Okay, now we'll start with strings. We have this string. We are learning Python, and I'm just printing that string, and along with the type of that type of string. I'll comment out the above lines. So we are learning Python is the string whichever we have given, and this data type is str. Str stands for string. So now I wanted to know how many characters are there in this string. So for that, there is a method length of st. So which object length we have to find out? We have to find the length of this st variable. So length of st. We can write here for understanding purpose. We can write it here. Length of given string is. So if you want to write any hard-coded thing, we have to put it in either single quotes or double quotes, and the value is length of the string. So it has 22 characters. This 22 characters includes the space. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 spaces. Including these 3 spaces, the length of the given string is 22. So you can directly print the length of the string, or else you can store it in some variable L equal to length of st, and then print the same thing. Length of st comma. Here instead of referencing length of st, we will directly refer L. Length of given string using variable. I'm just telling you the various ways to print the length of this. See, here also it is 22, here also it is 22. Just the way how we are calling it is different. Here we are storing it is in a variable and then printing it. If we store it in some variable, later on we'll be able to use this L value and somewhere. Let us say if I want S equal to 10 plus, I want whatever the length of this, I want to store this 10 plus L, sorry, 10 plus L, and print sum. Sum is 10 plus. So we can directly refer S here. The sum is 32 because the length is 22 and we are adding value 10 to that. Because if we store it like this in a variable, then we'll be able to use it further. For showing that we can use it further, I have taken this example. Yeah. And then if we want to change this string to uppercase, here only W is in uppercase capital letter. Remaining all are in small letters. If you want that to be in uppercase, we have to write print st dot upper. So see, if we are doing upper, it has converted everything into upper. And if we want that to be in lowercase, st dot lower. Now let us see, these two values will be printed side by side. We are learning Python, we are learning Python. One is uppercase, one is lowercase. We have it side by side, but we want it in a separate lines. If we want it in a separate lines, then we can write separator equal to slash backslash n. This backslash n is a new line character. So it will print the comma separated values in the new lines. See, now we have got these two lines in the two different lines. Slash n stands for a new line character. And instead of a new line, I want some special characters in between. I want to separate the two of them by star symbols. Then I will write this as separator equal to stars. Let's see. So whatever the separator we want, we can use that. Along with this separator, there is a variable which is supported along with print and end equal to. So after doing all these operations, if you want to write something, if you want to print something, you can do that. End equal to. At the end of the lines, I want a full stop, just these dots. See here, we are learning Python. The separator are stars, and again there is small case characters followed by the end characters. End characters I have given as dot dot dot. That's what is printed here. So let us stop it here. We'll continue in tomorrow's class. Any doubts still here?